Buff Metal back with another video. The topic of today's rant: Dead by Dog. Strange Tales from Dead by Dog Volume 1. Will I be going to Dead by Dog Volume 2? That is the question. And yeah, before I get into it, man, I just want to say, obviously, as you can imagine, big fan of Hell's Headbangers, right? I think that's pretty pretty obvious. Anyone watching this channel, obviously I like the dog shit. I discovered the dog after, he was the second person I found worth listening to after Rich Piana. Fun fact, I used to be a big Rich Piana fan, not because it's about metal or anything like that. He's just a bodybuilder, if you don't know who Rich Piana is. And he gave a lot of great life advice and just told people how it was, in cold truth, cold hard truth, and I always appreciated that. And when I found the dog's channel, I was like, is this guy doing a Rich Piana impression? What is it? When he would say, good morning, God damn it, and stuff like that, I'd be like, damn, this guy's taking a note straight from the Rich Piana book. And yeah, dude, eventually I just realized, no, the dog's a dog. I got on board with his channel, man. I kind of just went down the rabbit hole with that. Discovered a ton of new music. Great fucking deep cuts, man. Exploding Zombies, Hideous Manglius, just to name a couple. All those classic, only dog-only albums that we all know and love. That's what really got me into the whole Hell's Headbanger thing and made it very obvious that I had to go to Dead by Dog Volume 1 when I saw Malignancy, The Lurking Corpses, Regurgitation, even though they didn't end up playing. It was absolutely like, man, these bands, I have never heard anything quite like this, and dude, full disclosure, Buff Metal, dude, like, yeah, I've always been into death metal and stuff, like I've always liked Cannibal Corpse for probably the past 10 years, right? Since 2016, 17, I started dipping my toe in those waters. And honestly, man, ever since I haven't found better recs anywhere than from Hell's Headbangers. So with that little prefix before I go into the rant, I'll just start by saying I'm from Plymouth, Massachusetts. It was an 11-hour drive out to the Hell's Open Warehouse, which is where we started, man. I didn't know what the hell I was getting into. When you travel the country a bit, you realize that there isn't a whole lot going on in it. You know what I mean? Our first stop was in Scranton, Pennsylvania. On the way, we just figured we'd break up the drive, make a vacation out of it. And like I said in the last video, I never take vacations, man. I don't know, dude. I haven't earned one yet, damn it. I haven't done anything worth taking a vacation over. So the point is, basically I was like, I don't know, man, like, whatever. What do you think? Wife, do you want to make a, vacation out of it? And my wife was like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? Let's make some stops. And I'll say this, Scranton was the biggest shithole I ever stayed in. I'm curious if any of you other East Coast guys stayed anywhere like it. We were just like, man, this place is a fucking ghost town. It shouldn't even exist. It doesn't seem like there's anybody here. So regardless, man, after the stay in Scranton, next day we had the Hell's Open Warehouse, which is when you show up. And it was like that feeling of showing up to a party that you were half invited to. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I don't know any of these people. There seems to be a lot of people who know people here. And I'm like, yeah, all right, man. Here I am. I don't really know anybody. I don't know, I don't know the deep cuts. I'm not as deep into, the crazy metal lore, like a lot of these guys are. And my knowledge is not as, whatever. But, dude, I don't know. All that shit to me is for people with ego. I don't really give a fuck, man. So regardless, man, we pull into the warehouse. Shockingly, we're driving around. And we're like, this is a pretty fucking nice area, man. It's young, wherever I forget where the warehouse is, but driving around, we're like, oh, this is pretty cool, So you get it, it's a little suburban neighborhood. You pull in, and dude, it was crazy, man. Walking around the Hell's Open Warehouse, it was like, one, massive, there's like everything, dude. It's just, it's any metalhead, any real metalhead's wet dream, dude, honestly, to go to the Hell's Open Warehouse. So if that doesn't sell you, put it this way, if I wasn't already sold on the concert, the fact that I could go around the Hell's Headbangers Open Warehouse and dig through the crates, man, that was enough for me. Like, damn. So you go in there, you see people drinking brews. You see people like talking to each other. It's like a hang, dude. It's actually pretty fucking cool. And the vibe isn't pretentious either. I'll say that too. Like being a dude coming into it like me, who I'm like, man, I discovered Malignancy maybe 2 years ago. You know what I mean? And Regurgitation maybe 2 or 3 years ago at most. I'm pretty new to all this stuff. Again, I'm not not saying I'm a total poser, but I'll tell you this. I'll tell you if I don't know it. You know what I'm saying? So, but dude, I didn't find that was the case with a lot of these guys, man. People were just talking to you saying, oh, you should check out this, you should check out that. I was talking to a dude who owned a label, and I guess it didn't work out. He ended up closing it. But dude, I was talking to him for a hot minute in line while I was waiting. And dude, all the stuff I picked up was awesome too. So this gets us into when I met the brothers, right? When I first met Easy E, I think his name is Eric, right? Sorry, I'm bad with names, man. I don't remember shit. But the bald brother with the beard, you know. So I'm in line, I'm waiting, and you know, I finally get up to the front of the line, and I have my stack of records to check out, and you know, Brodequin's on top, Instruments of Torture, and we start talking. He's like, "Oh man, it's such a great album," and I'm like, "Yeah, man, you know, it's very cool. I like Brodequin." And dude, we started talking. I was like, "You know, man, not for nothing, it's a cool thing you got going on here, you know." And he's like, "Man, it's been a wild ride," and yada. I don't like, you know, buff metal doesn't like kiss and tell, you know what I mean? I don't like talking to people and then running and telling everyone what we talked about. Not that it was anything crazy, dude. It was just a normal conversation. But we get to the Lurking Corpses, which is in my pile of albums, right? And Eric or Easy E. Again, I don't like using people's nicknames when I don't know them. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's kind of a fucking poser thing to do. But anyways, just for the sake of like coherence, Easy E picks up the Lurking Corpses record and goes, where'd you get this? And I'm like, I don't, it was just like sticking out of a shelf over there. I can't believe I didn't even know you guys pressed this. You know what I mean? This is some of my favorite shit. Huge Danzig fan. You know, I love Lurking Corpses. And he's like, sorry, man, I can't sell you this copy, but I can probably find you another one. And I'm like, well, fuck, man. All right, do what you got to do, you know? So he puts it to the side and he goes, I'll get back to you, you know? So I stand around and I hang out, and I'm hanging in the warehouse for like a good probably 20, 30 minutes, like just talking to some other people and stuff. And I noticed that dude, Robert G, shout out to him. You know, he was recording his video, and I'm in there somewhere. If you watch his like walkthrough of the open warehouse, you know, you'll see me and my wife in there. And yeah, man. So Eric, eventually I keep doing like this to it, you know, and I don't want to apply pressure, dude, because the place was off the chain for sure. You know what I mean? So basically, yeah, I call it a wash. I'm like, you know what, man? I don't know if it's necessary. You know what I mean? I don't know if I need to get that. I don't know if it's something I need to necessarily go, you know, make someone go out of their way, you know, given the situation. So I let it be. You know what I'm saying? I say, the hell with it. I move outside, and there's the man himself. I see the dog. You know what I mean? And I go, you know, I see my wife. Now, let me tell you a little something about buff metal, dude. I really don't like, I don't want to say kissing guys' asses or anything, but like, I really don't like being a guy who's like, hey man, like I really admire you. Like I just got nothing to say to like celebrities and stuff like that. Not that I would call J-Dog necessarily a celebrity, but I'm not the kind of guy, like I just don't like doing that. I'm like, I haven't done anything for you to need to know who I am. I just enjoy the music and shit here, you know? So like, I don't know what to tell you, you know? So you know, I'm looking at my wife, I'm like, well, we came out all this way. Should I go say what up to the dog? And she's like, you know, so I'm like, all right. So basically I go over to the dog and I'm like, hey man, what's happening? You know, I just wanted to say, big fan of the channel, you know, what I meant to tell him was that, dude, I discovered you because, you know, I loved Rich Piana, and you're a bodybuilder too, you know, obviously. And I'd like to know, you know, what you thought of Rich's videos and if you watch those, because I think your entire audience could benefit from Rich Piana videos. But I totally blanked out, because when you do something like that, you kind of just got to roll with it, right? When you talk to someone kind of like, hey, who you don't really know, but you kind of want to talk to. I'm sure you guys have been in the, you know, same situation. I was in that once with Bill Moseley from House of a Thousand Corpses, and I've told the story before, but ended up just talking to my wife a bit, and I was just kind of like, beat it, dude. You know? But anyways, man, so basically, yeah, as I start talking to the dog, and I get the impression real fast, dog's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, this guy, you can tell he's just a regular goddamn dude. He's really nice. It was actually, you know, when I tell you about, if I can tell you one thing about the conversation, I'll say this. Dog's surprisingly a wholesome dude. You know what I mean? It was very pleasant to talk to, not like, get the fuck out of my face, weirdo. So, you know, as I'm talking to him, you know, I notice there's this guy coming up, and he's like, dog. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Here we go. Just as the conversation's getting good, and I'm kind of broing out with the dog a little bit, Guy comes over. He's got like a bag of hot dogs. He's like, I got dogs for the dog. I got dogs for the dog. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. And then he just kept talking. He's like, where do I put him? Where do I put him? And I'm like, all right. So the dog ends up a little tied up talking to that guy. And I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and just make my exit. I had a nice enough conversation. I don't want to hang around and pretend like I got more to say to the guy. But general impression, man, dog was a good dude, man. He seemed like a really good dude. And apologies if my channel is a bastardization of what the dog does, to some extent. Believe me, I hear it in the comments all the time, but I don't mean it to come off that way. I think I do my own thing. But anyways, regardless, man, so that was the end of the open warehouse. We went back to the hotel and got ready for the concert the next day, right? It was the next day, I believe so. And yeah, man, once we got, this is where it gets kind of funny, man. We get to Youngstown, and dog, I'm not saying nothing, right? But like, listen, I don't know if you know what Plymouth, Massachusetts looks like, but let's just say it doesn't look like Youngstown, Ohio, okay? We get to Youngstown, and I'm driving around, and we're doing a little pre-scope out for the concert, and I'm looking at my wife, and she's like, where the fuck are we? She's like, what the fuck is this place? And she's not saying nothing, but I can feel it on her, she's feeling a little like, this isn't the kind of neck of the woods I'm used to, and I'm like, all right. Well, so regardless, after a while, we're just like, fuck it. What does it really matter? It's not that bad, like there are definitely shitty places in Massachusetts, so I quelled all anxieties there, and we get to the hotel, and there's another couple in there who's, and I go to talk to the dude for a bit, and I'm like, what's up, man? Yeah, you see you go scope out the venue and stuff like that? And he's like, yeah. And his wife, as I say this, I shit you not, his wife goes like this and looks at my wife, and then they're like, crazy, right? And I'm like, oh, these ladies, dude. This is the most ladylike situation. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I get it. You ladies, whatever. I get it. And the other guy's looking at me like, same deal, like, oh, shit, man. Like, it is what it is, So I'm like, well, let's just see how it is once we get inside. And so, as we're hanging in the lobby, we see Vincent Crowley from Acheron. He's there, and he's, and the dude I'm talking to is like, oh, it's Vincent Crowley, man, from Acheron. And I'm like, yeah, I listened to him once. Not really my thing, dude. Honestly, like, Acheron's cool. I appreciate what they do and stuff, but it wasn't my shit then. It's not really my shit now. And it's a shame that they're not on the roster for Dead by Dog 2 because of whatever happened. But long story short, man, like, not really my jam. So again, I didn't say anything to Vincent Crowley or whatever, but so then the concert comes up, right? It's the night of the concert, and we get there, right? And we go inside, and when I tell you, man, that West Side Bowl, right, in Youngstown, Ohio, when I tell you that was one of the coolest venues I have ever seen in my life, dude, everything the underground should be about was this. It's a bowling alley in Youngstown, Ohio, middle of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of a sketchy neighborhood a little bit, and you pull into the parking lot, and we get out of the car, and I think it was one of the girls from Rotten UK. I could be wrong, but I think it was a member of Rotten UK. Yeah, it was a girl. Again, don't quote me on this, but she was screaming at somebody. She was reaming somebody. There was like some kind of cat fight or something going on in the parking lot. And I get out and I'm like, oh shit, it's going down off rip. All right, here we go. And me and my wife were like, oh shit. I think there was the car that parked next to us was a mom and like a 15-year-old who I actually think we ended up seeing later in the concert. I could be wrong, man. It's been a year, dude, but point is, you're looking around, everyone's like, oh shit, this is finally it. This is it. It's happening. I'm seeing some of the other people from the warehouse and stuff and Sandwood up. And again, man, in a surprisingly short amount of time, like, you make some pretty cool acquaintances, dude. And again, I wasn't doing YouTube or anything that, then there was no reason for anyone to know who I was or to even care, but people were just fucking genuinely nice to speak to, man, honestly. And this is why, like, I get kind of pissed when I watch metal videos and, like, I'm not going to drop any names, but the guys are like, fucking metalheads or blah, blah, blah. They're such trogs and mouth breathers and blah, blah. I'm like, God damn, dude, shut the fuck up. Yeah, every group has rotten eggs, dude. It's just, that is what it is, man. But as a whole, dude, I love the metal community, man. It's why I'm sticking around in this shit, and now trying to make my mark. But regardless, man, so we get inside and, dude, like I said, the venue is so sick. You got laser beams, fucking, it's cool looking, dude. And, I'm walking around, you get the Hell's Headbanger booth, and this is where it gets cool, because I walk in, and, after not getting that Lurking Corpses album, I see Eazy-E, and Eazy-E sees me, and he goes, come here, and I'm like, tell me you have it. I'm like, tell me, I can't believe this guy still remembers. And first thing he goes, oh, here it is, man, I'll get Shane over here to sign it in a minute. And I'm like the Von Ghoul guy, and he's like, so yeah, he's like, yeah, just hang out. And he gives me the record, and he's like, whatever, so I take it. Yeah, I think I grabbed a couple other things quick. Some of the Lurking Corpses CDs, because I was like, literally all the material's so good, but so then we go out, Rotten UK starts playing, dude, and they fucking do a killer set, dude. That is one of the most underrated bands on the Hell's Headbanger roster right there. I love Rotten, dude. That Rain on My Funeral, and dude, they sounded awesome in concert, man. They sounded just like the record. So, dude, if there's any copies of that left, please go grab it, dude. It rocks, So we get in there, and then after that, I forget who came on after. There was Malignancy, of course. And, dude, again, go on Robert G's channel and go watch a bunch of the concerts from that. The coolest fucking concerts you've ever seen. Malignancy absolutely killed it. Danny is fucking hilarious. And Ronnie is just an incredible guitar player. And the drummer was that kid who's got the YouTube channel where he plays every fucking instrument. He's just a musical genius, a prodigy that they must have picked up for the show. But regardless, man, dude, every single band, when I say they killed it, I mean it, man. They absolutely killed it. Up to the Lurking Corpses, man, which was probably my favorite. And, also, don't want to forget, fucking Evil Army, dude. Evil Army ripped. They absolutely ripped, man. It was one of those bands where I was like, dude, I love the album. I probably don't need to own it. I don't know how much I'll bust it out and play it, but dude, literally, as soon as the set was over, I went over to their table. I was like, bro, that was one of the fucking best. That was probably the best thrash show I've ever seen, dude. And so, long story short, man, actually, one more funny thing, as I'm sitting there on the, between sets, I'm sitting there on like the bench or whatever with my wife. We're taking a breather. It's been a long fucking couple of days between the travel, showing up, whatever. As I'm sitting there on the bench, there's a kid wearing and he's got a YouTube too, so I wonder if he'll see this, but there's a kid wearing a What's Heavier Than Pantera shirt. So I go, and the kicker is, what's playing on the radio right now is fucking Pantera. So I hear Pantera and I see the shirt and I go, yo, what's heavier than Pantera? And the kid just looks at me and goes, and I'm like, and I'm like, okay. But kind of odd, but that kid, I don't know what his YouTube channel is. I saw him do a thing on Beharit once because, a Buff Metal big Beharit fan, and he absolutely killed that video. But yeah, blonde kid, kind of nuclear blonde, that like white blonde. But anyways, regardless, man, he was there with a couple of buddies. And like I said, I found his YouTube after. But yeah, man, so when I tell you, man, Dead by Dawg Volume 1 was probably the best concert I've ever been to. Just as like, what do you want from a true metal experience? It's everything that was at Dead by Dawg, man. And dude, honestly, meeting the dog, meeting the brother, Eazy-E, Eric, or I think his name is Eric, right? And I didn't meet Reaper, but I saw Reaper was there, and shout out to him. He's got a great channel. But at the end of the day, man, it was absolutely phenomenal. It's everything you want out of metal, dude. When I tell you Dead by Dawg Volume 1 was probably the best concert I've ever been to, I mean it, man. And again, dude, that's coming from a dude like, dude, I haven't traversed the underground my whole life, man. Just full disclosure, right? But giving it to you straight from a dude who's like, again, my life was a little chaotic there for a minute, dude. Your boy was traveling the Middle East doing some buck wild shit. You know what I'm saying? So cut me some slack, damn it. But the point is, in my life, I don't think I've seen anything nearly that cool. Just the experience of it, the people and everything. So will Buff Metal be going to Dead by Dawg Volume 2? You're goddamn right I will be. And I hope this is an incentive for you guys to come out, say what up to your boy. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you, like, I haven't found metal really better than anything coming out of Hell's Headbangers. Everything they put out, especially the Dog Rex, man. I'm always like, yeah, man, this is fucking good. I hate to be like, unoriginal or whatever. Usually I pride myself in like, whatever, being independent on what I find is, but every time the guy recommends me something, man, I'm like kind of blown away by it. And I'm like, damn, fucking A, I guess I do sleep on shit, So, yeah, dude, I'm stoked up for the lineup. Obviously, I told Sam Biles. Sam Biles was in the comment of one of my videos that, he'll play a song if I have a request. I'm like, nah, man, play anything, dude. Everything rips, from Hideous Manglius. That's probably the band I'm most excited to see. So it's Hideous Manglius, but it's Sam Biles and friends on the bill. Yeah, man, and dude, am I a huge Denial of God fan? Not really, man. It's not necessarily my favorite, but I'll say this. I skipped out on Profanatica and Attic and Dead by Dog Volume 1. Dude, honestly, I looked at my wife, and when she gives you the look, dude. You know if you... you got to know as a man, dude, especially if you're married and shit, when your wife gives you the look. And I'll tell you this, at the time, it's funny. Now I'm like just starting to get into Profanatica. Yeah, but at the time I was like, yeah, that band does nothing for me, man. Like, I don't know. I asked Allison, I was like, if you want to go, we can. She was like, we don't have to. And that's when I was like, yep, that's a green light to get out of here. So again, Attic is cool too, but like, I haven't even I feel like discovered King Diamond to its full extent yet. So I should probably do that first, So I was like, I'm set with calling it here. This year, though, dude, honestly, I will be there for the whole thing. There's no shot. I got to grab some Denial of God CDs or something off Hell's before I, go and get acquainted. But, yeah, man, regardless, I'm still looking forward to all the bands there, man. Who else is playing? Flesh Parade, dude. So I got a buddy around here whose band has been playing with Flesh Parade, and I guess they might do some collabs and stuff together. So that's kind of cool. I was telling him, dude, go to Dead by Dog, So regardless, man, at the end of the day, now I'm just going to start spreading the word, man. Like, hope to meet some of my followers there, and say what up to people and, just have a fucking good time. Have some brewskis, maybe a little, if any of you guys partake, whatever. Dude, let's just go tear it up. I'm excited to see what happens. And, dude, again, man, I'm pretty thankful to Hell's Headbangers and stuff like that, especially, I mean, I doubt if the dog or any of them really know who I am, but, like, not for nothing, like, a lot of people tell me, dude, I'm going to Hell's to buy this after your recommendation. So I hope I can throw you guys some beans, man, get a couple of bucks, and stuff here and there just by promoting the shit that you guys also do. You know what I mean? Because you got so much dope shit, man. It's unbelievable, So, yeah, man, that's that. I guess I'll leave it there. Strange Tales from Dead by Dog Volume 1. See you at Dead by Dog Volume 2. Hoo hoo.